The Three Spinners. There was once a girl who was lazy and would not spin, and her mother could not persuade her to do it, no matter how hard she tried. At last, her mother became angry, and out of impatience, gave her a good hiding, that she cried so loudly. At that moment, the queen was going by. As she heard the crying, she stopped, and, going into the house, she asked the mother why she was beating her daughter, so that everyone outside in the street could hear her cries. The woman was embarrassed to tell her of her daughter's laziness. "I cannot stop her from spinning. She is always at it, and I am poor and cannot give her enough flax to spin. I like nothing better than the sound of a spinning wheel, and always feel happy when I hear its humming. Let me take your daughter with me to the castle. I have plenty of flax. She shall spin there to her heart's content." The mother was only too glad for the offer, and the queen took the girl with her. When they reached the castle, the queen showed her 3 rooms, which were filled with the finest flax, as full as they could hold. "Now you can spin me this flax, and when you can show me it is all done, you shall have my eldest son for a husband. You may be poor, but I am not worried about that. Your hard work will be enough." The girl was terrified, for she could not have spun the flax, even if she were to live to be 100 years old, and were to sit spinning every day of her life from morning to night. And when she found she was alone, she began to cry, and sat so for 3 days without spinning a single thing. On the 3rd day, the queen came, and when she saw that nothing had been done of the spinning, she was very surprised. But the girl excused herself by saying that she had not been able to begin because of the sadness she felt at leaving her home and her mother. The excuse was good enough for the queen, who said, however, as she went away, "Tomorrow you must begin to work." When the girl found herself alone again, she did not know how to help herself or what to do. And in her confusion, she went and gazed out of the window. There she saw 3 women passing by. The first of them had a large flat foot. The second had a big underlip that hung down over her chin. And the third had a remarkably large thumb. They all stopped in front of the window and called out to know what it was that the girl wanted. She told them all her need, and they promised her their help. "If we help you, will you invite us to your wedding, and not be ashamed of us, and call us your cousins, and let us sit at your table? If you will promise this, we will finish off your flax spinning in a very short time." "With all of my heart. Only if you promise to come in now and begin at once." Then the same woman came in, and she cleared some space in the first room for them to sit and carry on their spinning. The first one drew out the thread and moved the pedal that turned the wheel. The second moistened the thread, and the third twisted it and rapped it with her finger on the table, and as often as she rapped, a heap of yarn fell to the ground, and it was most beautifully spun. But the girl hid the 3 spinsters out of the queen's sight, and only showed her, as often as she came, the heaps of well-spun yarn. And there was no end to the praise she received. When the first room was empty, they went on to the second, and then to the third, so that at last all was finished. Then the three women left, saying to the girl, "Don't forget what you have promised. It will all be better for you." So when the girl took the queen and showed her the empty rooms and the great heaps of yarn, the wedding was at once arranged, and the bridegroom rejoiced that he should have so clever and diligent a wife, and praised her exceedingly. "I have 3 cousins, and as they have shown me a great deal of kindness, I would not wish to forget them in my good fortune. May I be allowed to invite them to the wedding and ask them to sit at the table with us?"
"There's no reason against it."
So when the feast began, in came the 3 spinsters, in strange dresses, and the bride said, "Dear cousins, you are welcome."
"Oh, how come you have such dreadfully ugly cousins?"
And then he went up to the first spinster.
"How is it that you have such a large flat foot?"
"With treading." Then he went up to the second.
"How is it that you have such a great hanging lip?"
"With licking." Then he asked the third.
"How is it that you have such a large thumb?"
"With twisting thread." Their answers made the bridegroom anxious, and from that time forward his beautiful bride should never touch a spinning wheel again, and so she escaped that tiresome flax spinning.